Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today I wanted to try out some new things with Zen. So we got a lot of the kind of information from the Pro Tour list. I think there's actually like an interesting spreadsheet, or I think it was like a data analyst thing going around where it basically showed like card distributions per hero and a bunch of interesting stuff like that. We might like cover that at a later point, but for today, I want to try out some kind of like ideas, I guess, from a lot of the deck lists that we saw. So this one is from Field of Flow. I basically kind of like copied a lot of the base deck here, and he I think went like got 10 wins over the course of the Pro Tour, which is pretty impressive, especially with how many rounds of Fab that is. It is a lot of rounds of Fab. And yeah, we're copying, I think, a lot of the ideas from the list. I'll try to explain like what I copied from his list and what I kind of modified as we go. But basically, this list was very popper heavy, which is one thing that I've kind of noticed is that the Prism matchup has gotten quite a bit harder. Even like with just like the default plan, it doesn't feel like enough. So basically, we're running like our normal suite of like CNCs and stuff, but we also have the weakest links for Aurora. And then we also have the Blanches. The Blanches are pretty good into Prism, just a decent tech card. And I think he's actually kind of spot on. So I think we were actually having like a Discord chat at one point, and I think he was like very concerned about the Prism matchup. I'm like, oh, the Prism matchup's like fine-ish. It's whatever. Like it's not great for you, but it's not bad. But I kind of have kind of like changed my tone on that a little bit. I think a lot more Prisms are running like red and yellow and Gelcraft, which I think makes the matchup a lot worse for us. So I think the Blanches do actually help out quite a deal. So I definitely like this idea. I'm kind of copying it from him. You'll also notice while I'm down here on the board that there's no wax on, wax off. It's just wax on, flick flack. I've also added blue flicks. I think he was just running 6 reacts in the normalist, which is very reasonable. I basically, I think, cut like a snag and a cosmic to make room for like blue flicks, which I do think help in a decent number of matchups right now. I think it's just like a decent card. I think I also saw them in his maybe board at some point. Maybe I didn't. That could be a lie. But yeah, I think the core game plan for this deck list is also quite good. So basically, I think I've copied most everything verbatim here, except I maybe like trimmed on a pouncing key and gone up on an incant, and I'll explain why in a second. But for the most part, the core game plan is the same here. The sensors are also spicy includes. I think he was running spinning low kicks before. I've never been a big fan of spinning low kick. So I think for the most part, the shell here is the same. I've kind of tried to explain a little bit like what I've changed and why I've changed it. Because I think like spinning is like kind of whatever. I'd almost rather have like 1 for 5 because I've kind of fell in love a little bit with that having that extra stat line. I think it just helps you unbrick a lot of like kind of all blue hands. I don't know. I'm very partial to 1 for 5s, especially like sound the alarm. I've been liking sensor a lot too. It's just very very strong right now, I think. Yeah, but to kind of also explain the incant, I think I swapped that with pouncing key. I've just never been a fan of like more than one blue pouncing key. And we're kind of out of starters, so I think that incant is like a decent option. I think Raven Williams also had the idea of running like a singular incant, kind of just as a filler blue card, which I kind of do like. So we're gonna run one incant here. I think these are like the main changes I'm gonna make to the deck. Don't know if I'm making the deck better or worse. I'm probably making it worse, but again, Florian, very good pilot. We've kind of talked a lot before the Pro Tour about his list, and I think he ended up doing really well with it, so I'm very impressed. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the main changes I made to his list just to kind of fit my playstyle a little bit more. And I think that for the most part, like Zen does kind of have to fit the pilot's playstyle because I think that like I don't know. If I was writing the spinnings, it feels like it's a lot more maybe aggressive than I'm used to, but I don't know. Yeah, but I think that's probably enough about the deck. Let's go ahead and try to get some games. All right, so we got a new. All right, seems like we got a fan here. Sorry, your message, or I guess my message is maybe getting blocked by the misplay jar there, but let's give it a good shot. This is definitely a matchup I think I need to practice because the last time I think I played against a new, I did lose. A little bit risky running the incant here. You can actually trim on the incant if we want to be extra safe. I think that's reasonable. All right, blue flick is quite nice here. Opponent's choosing to go first. So they're running 66 cards, which means very likely to be fatigue here, or CYB rather. So Spider's Bite. Against CYB in particular, I do want to be a little bit careful about my blocks. I guess Flick Flack is not like the worst thing in the world to just use early. This matchup is definitely still a little difficult. All right, so we can give up Aspect or we give up Mauling here. I think either's fine. Let's go ahead and give up Aspect. Do we also want to overblock with the 100 wins? Maybe. This also maybe feels like a CYB. think I'll go ahead and get the filtering early because developing on chi is quite important. All right, no CYB. Interesting. All right, double transcend is quite nice. Unfortunately, with these two transcend cards in particular, we're gonna have to pop pouncing paws, which sucks. I think it's gotta be worth it though, right? The other option is we send Mauling Key, but that's like terrible. Like we can just play out Chase the Tail here with it with a car. Like I don't think there's any real reason not to not pop boots here. And yeah, it does suck to use pouncing paws, but I think that a lot of times you gotta like ignore the one block value on it. All right, let's do drop stir. So 2 to pay here. We can do 2 for Kakara. We gotta do the Chase Tail first though, which is a little bit awkward. We could also breed anger first and then Kakara after. Does that make sense? I guess it does make sense. Sure. Go ahead and breed anger first. I guess conceal a little bit of information. Don't think it really matters a ton. So you have the extra tiger. Now we can come with Kakara, put 2 and 2. I guess is probably the most annoying way to do the breakpoints here. All right, so we're definitely expecting CYB new here, but could be anything. We are going off an arsenal here, which is also quite nice. The mana actually lined up really nice here. Mana, resources, whatever. Yeah, but very solid turn 1. Giving up pouncing paws is like a little bit unfortunate because it can like stop a beckoning misplay, which is really, really nice. But we can send like a shit ton of damage. I think it's probably worth it. So they started at 40. May have a react here? No react. Okay. So basically did 14 damage. We did that was basically a 20 damage turn. I'll take that any day. All right, Picus Link again. Annoying. But we can block. Could potentially get blown out if they want to go for arousing. But maybe we'll just commit here with confidence. Can always like get rid of preserve if they want to pop arousing wave, but I think this is like fine. All right, go ahead and preserve back. Chase here. Chase seems fine. We do only have 2 aspects left, but I guess we can just go ahead and arsenal this. All right, snag is very nice. So a little bit unfortunate there. We lost our transcend card, but bound to happen sooner rather than later. And we have arousing wave out of the way, which is also quite nice. So we can snag here, and then they'll take the Winds of Eternity, and then our hand is like nothing. Alternatively, we let them take the snag. It's definitely an option here. Did we let them take the snag? Too many snag is like also really bad in this matchup because I feel like every time I run snag, if it's like more than 1 copy, it's like instant Siren Skull fodder. That's what it feels like, at least. I debated using it there. Okay, I guess they're gonna get the Winds of Eternity anyways. That's fine. All right, 2 Siren Skulls out of the way. It's not anything to or I think, sorry, 2 Siren Skulls out of the way is probably pretty good for us. Let's go ahead and just double walk here. If they take our 100 wins, I don't care. I don't think there is anything they can do to take 100 wins. But they're definitely getting a lot of cards out of us. I would definitely like to maybe try to find some action here, or hope they break. All right, we do have one of our Cosmics here. So I've notably cut down on a Cosmic. I felt like 2 has been pretty comfortable for me, especially like, so one thing with CYB new in particular, assuming that they are on CYB new, is that like Cosmics don't really help you in a normal new. And like if there's CYB new, like having the 3rd Cosmic, like how big of a deal is that? All right, getting levels online is fine, especially with the life lead we have. So we should hopefully be good here. All right, getting a bite could be annoying, but we don't really care about our arsenal all that much. Could block it with 100 wins, but that's also kind of bad. I'll just pass. If they want to like CNC or leave no us, I think we're fine. Oh, nothing. Okay, I didn't expect nothing. I guess we can do like 2-1-1. Maybe even pitch 100 wins to just right. That all we got, very common right now. That all you got being so one of the I think actual reasons for Zen's decline right now is just the amount of battle you got that's in the meta right now is kind of insane. It does feel like actually one of the better tech cards you could run into Zen, and I feel like it's just incidentally kind of okay into Aurora right now. So uh definitely kind of why I think Zen hasn't been performing as well is because like a lot of the top decks are just running that all you got. Like I've seen Aurora run that all you got. I've seen Prism obviously runs that all you got. Enigma sometimes runs that all you got. Like card is actually kind of brutal into Zen in particular. All right, this hand is fine-ish. We could theoretically flick flack. Is that good though? It's like fine. I feel like we just maybe want to try to throw Traverse in front of something if they slip up here though. This hand actually is pretty good off Traverse. Bonds of Agony is obviously terrible, but what do they have to take, I guess? So we already have Monkey gone. They could take all the swipes out of our deck. That'd be annoying. Could also, so if they Stiletto plus Mask, could be only coming in for 4. I mean, it could be coming in for anything, right? It's Bonds of Agony. I feel like we're probably just going to get hit by this and be sad. So either take the swipe. I guess we can block with the swipe too. Blocking the swipe is kind of an option. And then they can take either one of these and they're fine, or they can take the flick flack, and we're also fine with that, I think. Oh, if they take the flick flack though, then we don't have the red flick flacks in the deck. So we can banish a Mauling here. If they want to take the one of Gustwave, maybe we're fine with that. So I guess we will just play the flick flack out so they take this. And we don't get all of our, because like having flick flacks in the deck is obviously pretty strong. If they take the one of Gustwave though, I think we're fine with that. So sure. I think this is overall okay for us. Do just need to find our window here to kind of like throw a Traverse in front of something. We have seen 2 Siren's Calls, so it might be getting pretty close to the point where it's safe. But it doesn't quite feel safe just yet. All right, Persuasive is maybe okay. We do have double react to back this up. So if they have the 3rd Siren's Call, it's obviously annoying. But I think this might be our window, honestly. Just throw a Traverse in front of this because it's efficient and we can also like double react. Like we have insurance here. So the only way we get really blown out here is with Siren's Call specifically. Even if they like CNC us, it's not that bad. It's like pretty bad, but it's not like the end of the world. I think we're gonna go for it. So Siren's Call, I think, is like the one major punish here. And we did see 2 of them out of the way, so I think that risk is probably worth taking. All right, Spider's Bite's fine, so very likely to be Codex. They've seen 2 CNCs. So we could theoretically react with Flick Flack, but it's probably not even worth it, right? Yeah, I think we're just gonna let them have the Codex here. Maybe just overpitch a Flick or whatever. Oh, if it's just Leave No, though, we're probably in business. So now we get to play our full hand, and we get to just use, which is better between Wax and Flick. I feel like Axon is better, especially without a Rousing Wave up, so we'll go ahead and just use Flick. All right, I think we're in a pretty good position here. We get to develop out our 4-card hand very efficiently. I'm very glad that wasn't CNC or wasn't Codex there. I think not being Codex was very huge for us. All right, go ahead and grab Chase. Slam it. You do 4-3-4-4. Arsenal Wax. Super efficient here. Definitely still feels like CYB, even though we haven't seen one yet. It's just kind of like my gut feeling here. Could be wrong, though. It's definitely been 7 turns and they haven't seen one, so it seems kind of unlikely. Maybe no CYB, honestly. It might be a first. Normally I associate the high deck size with CYB, but it might not be the case here for them. Definitely very react heavy, it seems like, though. Just probably to deal with Aurora, I imagine. Okay, we have one of the Zen hands of all time. Yeah. Yes, we're doing it. I mean, we can make a Zen state theoretically. It's kind of spicy. All right, let's do Rising Sun Homage. They don't know what's in our hand, too. All right, Wax On, not incredibly useful. I mean, none of these cards are incredibly useful. Yeah. We have Bonds of Agony. It would be kind of funny next turn. Probably should have pitched, not made a resource and pitched a chi there, but that's fine. Well, here we are, I guess. Get the 1 of Key Unleashed. It's like fine. And then I guess if they keep their full hand, we can make a Zen State. That's probably actually kind of good. Zen State on a 5-card new hand is like kind of reasonable. And I guess we can also go again and then like flip this to IP with Chi, IP with the flip Chi. It's kind of tempting. To go to a 4-card hand, do we want a Zen State? Probably. Yeah, I think they might have noticed the 4 Chi Zen hand. Alright, I guess we'll IP with Chi, make a Zen State. It's probably fine-ish. Double Chase the Tail, huh? Okay, this is fine. So Justinic we can cover. We could throw a Chase the Tail in front of this just in case. So if they just Stiletto, obviously that's bad. Maybe just let them have it. If they take a Chase the Tail, it's fine. If they take a blue, it's terrible. Good 50-50 it. Our deck is higher density in reds. So I think we'll risk it. So they need something more than this Justinic. We will attempt to fight for it though, I think. Alright, if they have Banish, we're fine with that. So we can banish one of these Chase the Tails because I think we're basically out of aspects at this point. We have 2 aspects in the yard. None in Banish currently, so we'll go ahead and banish one of the Chases. Alright, I think this worked out for us. Definitely a little bit of a weird spot to be in. Alright, that all we got, proving it once again to be very rough. Alright, go ahead and grab that aspect. We're also very low on combo cards here. I think in this configuration of the deck, I'm not fat decking as heavily as I should be. I don't know. Feels like I always do tend to run out of combo cards if I'm like below 65 or something. Maybe it's just my playstyle though. Maybe I like to block a little bit more than I should. Still doing some good damage here. And that only got a little bit less good, especially if they, you know, are not attacking into us because of the Zen state. This hand's like surprisingly okay. We do 5 and a 5. It's acceptable. All right, levels for 3. Alternative option is we can block 3, send 7. It's probably just about as good. But then we're like not really gaining a ton of value there. I don't know. Maybe actually just sending, like taking the 2 off this is fine. So let's go ahead and do 5 and 5. I think going up in Arsenal here is semi-okay. We haven't seen a single codex yet, though. We could also do 5 and 3 if we wanted to. I don't know what their arsenal is. So the option is 5 or 3. I guess the question is, do we smell a codex? Maybe. Maybe we do. Do we still have both cosmics in the deck? We do have both cosmics in the deck. Thinking here. I feel like I'm gonna play it safe and maybe just do 3. Feels a little bit too cavalier to just like go off an arsenal. Like they've already used 2 CNCs, 1 leave no, so they have 3 arsenal disruption effects and 3 codexes live in the deck. I think this is probably fine here. You might be looking at the life differential and being like, oh, you're actually doing a pretty good job this game, but like the life differential can change so rapidly in this matchup. All right, persuasive. I think we're just gonna get hit by it. banish the blue here, I think. Go ahead and give him 1 chakra. And hope they hit a blue off the top. Right, they do hit a blue off the top. So you either take chakra or 100 wins. I think either is probably fine at this point. Alright, now we can do 2 and a 5, or we can do E-Strike. I feel like I'd rather go 2 and a 5 almost. Sensor could be quite disruptive here. Like, we can force 2 blocks out of them. I think that's a win. So what do we name if we were able to hit? I think it's probably just D-React here, though. Alright, so I don't think there's CYB at this point. Probably just very D-React heavy and, like, disruptive just to deal with Aurora is my guess. But it's probably not great for us, honestly. Yeah, so this is not ideal. We've been seeing a lot of all red hands in a row. But I feel like we've also been seeing a lot of, like, all blue hands as well. So maybe it's kind of evening out a little bit. You'll just take the siren. Oh, yes. Every time a new whiffs on a Siren's Call, an angel somewhere grows its wings. I think someone said that at some point. Oh, I love when this card whiffs. Maybe I should just make a red line Zen deck so that Siren's Call always whiffs. That'd be so nice. Interesting. Popping Stiletto on it. Why? Huh. Did they mean to Stiletto? Okay. I'm not going to question it. Okay, so this hand we can just like send CNC Arsenal Wax on. It's like fine. Yeah, it's like fine. Curious what the boots thing was. Maybe he didn't mean to do that. If I had to guess, I'm not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and grab so CNC, and I guess we are just arsenaling the wax. We are running a little bit light on threats, I feel like, at this point. Definitely a concern is like, are we gonna have enough gas in the deck to finish the game? Alright, no block on the bite here. Hope for another not CNC. We have seen all 3. Alright, Leave No is perfect for us. So we will definitely try to capitalize on that. Right, last that all you got in the deck as well is I think a good sign for us. I don't know what I have left in the deck at this point. Do we have a chase left? No, we don't have a chase left. I guess we wouldn't want chase unless we hit with the Binding Breeze randomly. Let's go ahead and just start with Kakara. I might send the Binding Breeze before they know we have Chi. I think that's smart because they might give Mass to stop this. Yeah, they might give Mass. I think that actually works out really well for us because I don't think we really had a way to use the Tiger. And now we're just getting Mulling, I think, just for max efficiency here. Could also Arsenal the Pouncing Key and just send Mulling. So this is 4 then 5. I guess if we do both, I think that threatens lethal, right? 4, they block 3. This would basically threaten the last card out of hand. I think that's probably worth it at that point. If we can get them low enough where they have to basically block out every turn, I think that's path to victory. So they still have to give us this last card or react from Arsenal. So probably another react. Yeah. I feel like a lot of decks are just trending towards like very D-react heavy at this point. Alright, Art is our body. So if we can flick flack this, then it won't trigger. We pay. We could also just let it hit. If we let it hit, what happens? They gain a life potentially and maybe draw a card. But then on our turn, we can get Tiger Swipe, send Weakest Link, Arsenal Flick. This might be greedy, but I'm going to let this hit. If it whiffs, then, like, yeah. I feel like we could have maybe, like, if this was an actual game, like, spent some time to, like, actually do the math on, like, what their chances of hitting are. But I think, like, this play, I think, is very good for us. If we just do 0, 5 into 6. Could Could have also pitched the Galactic Kakara, but maybe it might have actually been worth it, actually, because we get 3 value out of that, basically. Which basically threatens another card out of hand. Yeah, let's see what this weakest link can do. Alright, last Sink Below, potentially. Alright. A little bit of a brick hand here. Go ahead and overpitch here. How many leave no's do they have? They have 1 leave no, 2 leave no. Okay, so there's nothing like banishing actually does here. Let's just pass. I think we still have 1 more swipe left. Might as well go ahead and use it. We are kind of out of threats at this point, though. I feel like actually maybe using that flick there was probably worth it to pitch to Kakara. I think I'm going to count that as a misplay, by the way. Let me actually update the misplay jar. Alright, I'm counting that as a misplay. Let's go ahead and pass. Because I think that lets us push basically lethal. I think this way it still like kind of works out, but I think that was maybe the win the game on the spot line. I guess we probably win the game on the spot here anyways. Let's go ahead and banish the react and then this. I think this should probably get there. Fortunately, we don't have a combo card. We can just pitch here. They do have their preserve, so fortunately we're not getting fizzled here. Because we did manage to target that react. They don't have any blue flicks in graveyard yet. I guess they can banish a blue flick if they want to. So targeting Codex, pass over targeting our CNC, makes sense. So yeah, I think we're just playing out the hand. Let's see what they got. Blue flick, Wind Chakra. I think their goose might be cooked here. Go ahead and do 2 into 2 into finally 6. But definitely like basically running out of cards here. It's kind of what makes this matchup a little bit scary. It's just that like you can easily just get your Cosmic Banish and whatever, and then like you might not have the actual juice to kind of finish the game. Jeez. Yeah, this matchup's still very tough if it's non-CYB. I think that it's definitely like if they're running like the Dahlia in a very defensive package, it feels quite bad. Okay, so that was a pretty decent little new game. Again, very defensive list. So let's actually kind of take a look at like how many reacts they're running at this point. So they're running 2 reacts in the deck. I think they're running basically a full suite of the Dahlias, full suite of Sinks, full suite of Fates, and then a full suite of shelters as well. Yeah, this is definitely like I think this is like actually like a pretty viable strategy in terms of like dealing with Aurora. Actually, I don't know if they were on the full set of shelters. They might not have been. Let's actually take a look. So I think they only had the one of shelter, maybe. I thought I saw a shelter at some other. Oh no, there is a second shelter there. Okay, third shelter. So maybe they're running like 8 D-reacts, like 8/0/4 D-reacts, which is pretty good. Makes you pretty like solid into like some things like Aurora and Prism. And I think that's probably like definitely a way to build this deck, especially with the Dahlias. I think they're quite solid into like Aurora, for instance. But they also make like the Zen matchup very brutal because you can just block Kakara and then just get a free card value, which is kind of rough. I'm not like I don't know. Not a super big fan of this card. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a card that like incidentally hoses Zen, but like people aren't teching for Zen, they're teching for Aurora, right? Yeah, but anyways, good game opponent. Let's see if we can get another. All right, so let's play against Enigma. So for Enigma, do we have a board? I think it's the aggro board. I was reading up on your sideboard notes here. So not running the weakest link is interesting to me. Kind of would rather run that over like the sensors, for instance. I've also thought about running Blanche, but I feel like that's probably overkill. Like I feel like 5 poppers is pretty good. Let's give them a good look, have fun, and then let's go ahead and do it. So we're going first. Definitely think not exactly what you want in this matchup. So we can overpitch here in Arsenal Mauling, or the alternative is we can like Arsenal the 100 wins and hope that we can transcend. I think we'll just get a little bit of filtering here. I don't think we're really scared of them playing out auras at the end of the turn because the Enigma lists are not on like Waxing Spectre and stuff anymore. Most of them aren't. Like maybe they're on like one or two of them, but like nothing, not like a crazy amount like they once were. I think maybe arsenal the aspect here is kind of worth it, especially if we get like a 2 card transcend hand, which his deck does like pretty well. Arsenal aspect does mean that you can like sometimes just pop off of it. I think there's maybe some merit to getting arsenal the blue there, but let's see if we get punished. Do we get punished? I can't tell if this is a punish or not. Huh. Interesting. So if we do this, the most they're getting out of this is 6 value, which is still a lot of value, but they basically like pass the turn to get that value. So maybe it's still fine to just rip a chase aspect here and arsenal drop. I think that's okay. They're always going to basically get 4 off of this. Oh, unless they don't block. If they don't block, then we're maybe also in business. But I think it's definitely worth it to give Pouncing Paws here. Fortunately, I think both of these last 2 games we've had to use Pouncing Paws on turn 1, but like you'd be kind of surprised at how correct that is sometimes. All right, they're gonna let their essence pop, which is fine. Definitely annoying. Like we're not just not gonna play a chase aspect, even if 4 of it gets eaten by prevention. Like we're still sending 11 damage on the backside of this, which I think is definitely reasonable. So we get an extra 8 here. And then we also just get to Arsenal Transcend for next turn, which means if they block out here, we're probably not bricking. Yeah, I don't know, one bummer thing about the current state of the meta is just how many generic D-Reacts are around. I feel like I don't know. I feel like D-Reacts should not be as generic as they are, but maybe that's just my own game design philosophy probably talking. Like it feels like it just makes it kind of like homogenizes a lot of decks. I feel like because like I imagine this Enigma is probably on like 9 reacts or whatever. Like the new we played was also probably on like 8 or 9 reacts. Like I don't know. I think it's just kind of like something I'm not crazy about. So I'm probably just gonna play a CNC Arsenal CNC and maybe get a breed here. Still like the game. Don't get me wrong. It's just kind of I don't know. Maybe one of the design challenges is like printing support for every class that's not generic. Maybe it's like more niche or more like hate cards because like Shelter is not really a hate card, right? It's kind of more of just a generically good card. I feel like. Oh, it might even be IPing with Chi, which I didn't really talk about, but it's probably fine. Could have prevented that if we wanted to like overpitch, but IPing with Chi is like surprisingly good. I think if I accidentally IP with myself with Chi, like I used to be like, oh, I don't want to like IP with Chi. That's like you never want to IP, right? But like you'd be kind of surprised at how good IPing with Chi is. But I definitely like didn't notice that. I was ranting about that was my 0 for 4 D-React rant. All right, the CNC is probably going to be doing a bit of work here though. I just get to Arsenal CNC, have another Transcend turn next turn. Excellent. Fantastic. Very, very good hand. And I guess we're just going to Arsenal Mulling as well. So let's go ahead and grab, I guess, 0 cost. We can also buff this if we want. Buff into 1, 5, or buff into 2, or buff in 5 into 0, 5, 6. That works, right? We're not guaranteed to be able to play the card we draw off the top, so I think we're just doing buff go. I feel like that's a good metric for like when I draw off levels is like how likely am I to get more than 2 value off the card off the top. And I feel like in this case it's probably not super high. If we draw a blue, it's 3 value. If we don't draw blue, if it's like a random red that we like a red chain render or whatever, then like we get no value out of it. All right, hit with Tiger. We're still sending CNC here probably. We actually might have been better to just send Tiger Mauling now that hit. Probably do like that better. I don't know if that's a misplay or a micro optimization. I'm gonna count it as a misplay. When in doubt, I think misplay. I think that the mauling there is just maybe like a little bit because we're sending 6 damage anyways, and then we get the threat of CNC on a later turn. Alright, so Prowler, Spectral Shield, we just have more chi. Disgusting. Yep. No real reason to think about it too hard here. Alright, show me what you got. I think we have 100 wins in this configuration, which means we can like E-Strike a Tiger if we want to get an aggro. Kind of down for that. Could also E-Strike the weakest link. And we're like, I don't know. It's not super efficient, I feel like. I'm going to get aggressive here. If we redraw Tiger, I don't think it's the end of the world. 100 wins. E-Strike goes. I don't know. I'm a big fan of E-Striking Tigers. I think it's a very cool little design thing that they included. Like the ability to just like tuck Tigers in your deck. Because like like putting a Tiger in your deck, like, you know, not a real thing, right? Like you can't just draw like 3 chi and then a Tiger. Actually, 3 chi and Tiger is probably not as bad as I'm making out to be, right? You like transcend and then chase. It's pretty decent. All right, there's that all you got. Fortunately, we're not Kakaring this turn, which is also really nice. And then could Kakara now if we wanted to. I think weakest link is like pretty disruptive. Full on mauling. Of course, like if we get some damage in here, I think we're happy with that. If they battle, you got this. I'm also happy with that. I hate this card, by the way. This card sucks as Zen. It just feels so bad, like losing, like giving your opponent like 2 free block and then also just like not getting any damage through. Sacred Arts. Yes. Let's go ahead and just get an aspect here. I think we're pretty good on resources here. They have Transcendence, so they can pop Mirror Guy whenever they want, but we do have an Arsenal. They might just be waiting for the perfect time to do so. But we'll go ahead and just keep pushing some damage here. Still have Traverse up, so like we're not super dead if they just like slam Mirror Guy. Looks like based on how they're not blocking, they might be trying to go for some Mirror Guy into something else this turn. But we're not going to like tap out a resource or anything. So it's definitely Mirror Guy plus like some disruptive effect. It's normally how I think Enigmas try to set up their Mirror Guy's turns is they try to do Mirror Guy plus another thing in general. And if they do that, sometimes they just win, right? All right, let's hope to not draw a hand of Chi and then okay, playing out the Mirror Guy now. Sure, I guess, I mean, doesn't really matter, right? But you probably want to play it on your turn, right? All right, a little bit of a clunky hand here. But we don't have to give Traverse yet. We can like save Traverse for like CNC or whatever. Might not even block a CNC depending on what they do. That's probably correct too still. We'll see what they got. All right, pass over. Maybe gonna play another Mirror Guy? That'd be kind of gross. Oh boy, it's another Mirror Guy. Okay, we are in danger. Officially in danger. You know, it's funny. This actually happened to me during the ProQuest. Not as good as, or I guess like, not in the same way that this is happening, but like very similar. I think we just have to give Traverse here because like I think we're gonna save Stir the Pot for the next turn and then hope that they can't keep like a singular card in hand that they can swing with both Mirror Guys. Unfortunately, they're not having Disruption here, although a second Mirror Guy I'm not exactly thrilled with. Alright, so all the battle you got are out of the way too, which is quite nice. So how do we make this hurt? Let's think about it a little bit. So we obviously want to probably E-Strike Go again at some point this turn, right? Which means that this forces the card, like Quick Dodge forces a blue, which means 6 value here, 2, 1. Yeah, this is not going to be, they might be able to keep one here, is my gut feeling. Could also E-Strike Tiger, get what? Get an aspect? That would kind of work. Let's try to calculate out the damage here. Let's say I start with Kakara, which probably just eats quick dodge, but I think it's still fine. Then I think we're E-striking Tiger. Then what are we tutoring for? It's a good question. Tutoring for Aspect. I think we're tutoring for Aspect to re-get the Tiger. All right, so let's grab the Aspect, which makes another chain link. We bottom this. Do goes. So this eats a 3-block plus a quick dodge charge. Could also eat a mirror guy here if they want to like not get greedy and try to keep both. We'll see what they got. Right, so it's probably Fate plus a quick dodge charge, which is not efficient, or not as efficient as it could be because they're gonna have to block 6 on 5 here. I think I don't mind this still though. And it's gonna be a little bit awkward here. So our choices are either to weakest link. Does weakest link get there? So option 1 is to weakest link. Option 2 is to mauling. But mauling is pretty easily covered by quick dodge off Tunic. I think it might end up being safer to just stir and kill, but then we're putting ourselves at risk of not being able to transcend next turn, which would also mean we probably lose. So if they rip Tunic, block with the 3-block, they swing mirror guy. That's bad. If they have I think it's gotta be weakest link, right? Even if we just kill one mirror guy here, I think I'm okay with that. Because like I think it's too efficient for them to block mauling. I think we just need a bank that like hope that we just redraw into chi or something that's like not a brick. This is not looking good though. So I think we did the best. I wonder if there's anything we could have done that was more efficient. Like maybe there's a way that we could like E-strike the weakest link or something. Now they pull Tunic, they quick dodge. Okay, so unfortunately they just had, how many reacts did they have this turn? They had at least one other 4-block react, right? Yeah, so unfortunately they just got 2 mirror guys out while having a bunch of 4-blocks in hand. Unfortunate. But quick dodge is out of the way, so I'm assuming they're trying to keep a blue here so they can swing. All right, fortunately we drew this hand. Still not looking very promising, but can maybe do something here. Windjacker will help, I think. I think we can stabilize here. Maybe a little bit of cope, but we are at 7, which is basically infinite life, right? And we're only facing down, 32 points of value that they played out. Or actually, it's a lot more than 32 points because it's 4 points plus. Oh, it's just 40 points of value off of like 2 cards, or I guess 4 cards. 4 card 40. Just common Enigma things, right? Yeah. Love this here. Let's do. I guess we'll start with Rising Sun Passover and see what we draw into, and then we'll banish, quick dodge to send a message, get a resource, hope to draw into a non-chi card here. All right, we drew into another chi. Unfortunate. Still fine though. Play out the chakra. And how do we want to space out our trend, or how do we want to space out our breakpoints here? I think starting with Kakara does make sense. Because we can do 2 and 4, which is probably better than 3 into Tiger later. But yeah, unfortunate draw second chi. I guess it's like we still needed a card to pitch, so it's not the end of the world here. Alright, 1 mirror guy down. That's promising. Alright, need to kill the second one now. Let's grab, I think it's just breed here, right? Most efficient thing we can do. I think there is a decent chance there that like we just don't draw anything and then we lose on the spot. And so that will eat the 4. Unfortunately, the Shukra breakpoints are not really doing us a lot of favors here. So we do 4, 1, 5. We can get them down to 1. They keep a 3-card hand. Still have armor. I think that's probably fine. Yeah. Gotta love double mirror guy, right? Something, something, offensive overlaps, defensive overlaps, yada yada. Not salty at all. Okay. Alright. We got 5 damage here. Okay, they have a sync, that's fine. I think we've somehow managed to stabilize here. I wonder if there's anything we could have done better on that mirror guy turn. Like maybe if we played out the mauling key somehow. I think if we played out I'm gonna say there was a misplay on that turn, because I think that maybe if we bottomed the weakest link, there was maybe a better chance of breakpoints or something. I have to watch that back though. I don't know if like getting rid of the weakest link actually results in more damage. I think it does. Alright, CNC is fine, obviously. A little bit annoying actually, because of just like how little block we have in hand. I think we're probably just gonna rip it, right? I think we end on levels. Probably makes the most sense. Yeah, end on level seems good. So we'll go to 1. I think okay, so I did I have the counter there? I think I did. I think there was a misplay on the turn. I think maybe getting rid of one of the chain enders so we can play the other chain ender means we can kill one of the mirror guys. So maybe there was actually something we could have done about that. I'd have to like think about that harder though. Alright, let's start with the Biting Breeze though. I'm gonna for sure say there was a misplay on that turn though. I think. I think that's also one of those things that I would think about harder in like an actual real life game, because I feel like a little bit pressured by the Telestroke timer sometimes. All right, Double Transcend is probably good for us, especially with the Sacred Art. So that's basically just like 3 block value. I am A-okay with 3 block value. So unfortunately, we are not going to get our Tiger here, which means we can't chase, but that's still fine. We already used 2 of our chases at this point, so I think this is okay. Fortunately, we are transcending very well this game. I think if we weren't transcending, this would probably be a different game. Let's grab a swipe. We already have a Shuka breakpoint, so I guess we might as well just get pouncing key here. Tiger, pouncing key levels. And I think we could have definitely maybe tried to kill the second mirror, one of the 2 mirror guys there, and this would not be as close. But we'll do draw buff here still. I gotta think about that turn more. I gotta watch that back after, maybe like figure out what the actual alignment there was. I feel like that might have been a little bit of a cop out to just say like, oh, it's a 4-card 40. Like maybe I could have actually done something about that to make that not a 4-card 40. All right, Can't Leash is like a mid arsenal, but kind of fine here. All right, hands are very good today. So I think we're just giving up Kasaya because we can just play out the hand and it's fine. Just get another like 100 wins or whatever. Probably works out. You can also think about the Shuko buff a little bit, but I think it's fine. I think we've well and truly stabilized here. Yeah, I'm gonna. If there wasn't a misplay on that turn, let me know. But I'm gonna tentatively say that there's probably something I could have done better that turn. Maybe it also depends on like what they have in hand, but I don't know. All right, go ahead and grain this. Maybe threaten their Spectral Shield here. Oh, they're going to use Coalescence. That's very good for them. All right, let Spectral die, and then they get an extra 3 block out of that. Pretty solid. Could get a blue 100 wins if we wanted to get the Shuko trigger this turn. Could also get Tiger Swipe. It's probably the better way to get Shuko trigger, right? Yeah. So now we do 1, 5, and a 4. Pretty good. And now this, they need to like double block on if they want to keep the Restless alive. Nice efficient hand here. All right, they can go to 1 here. It's definitely a little dicey. So they have to have another 4 block here to live. Yeah, maybe don't have it. Okay, just a 3 block. Okay, I don't know if there was a punt there. I think there probably was. But I also feel like I thought about that turn wrong. I'm gonna have to watch. Team will have to watch that one back and tell me if there's anything I could have done better. I think that the actual play there was to maybe not bottom the tiger, just so we have another breakpoint, and then instead of getting like aspect, maybe get a better combo card, and then end on mauling somehow. Yeah, I have to think about that one a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, that was a very insane double mirror guy draw. That's the I think second time that's happened to me this week. So love the hero. Obviously, oh, good game to our opponent as well. I didn't see that earlier. But yeah, not gonna miss some of these MST heroes, let me tell you. Well, I think it's probably gonna wrap it up for today. So this was playing kind of a modified version of Field Flow's Decklist. I think that a lot of his core kind of decisions here, like with like the blues, are I think pretty solid. I'm kind of just like altering the deck to fit a little bit more of my playstyle, and then I think his sideboard's like actually quite good as well. I encourage you to actually let me see if I can actually pull up the other list. Yeah, I forgot to mention that this is I think his original list, so very similar kind of style. I think for the most part, like very similar kind of like ratios and stuff. One key mistake here is he's running a Flusterfist over like the Gust Wave of the Second Wind, which is just a strict upgrade in my opinion. And also running like some more aggressive cards like Spinning Wheel Kick, an extra like Pouncing Key instead of the Incant, and then just a couple other like sideboard minutia, like basically I think trimmed on a Stag, trimmed on a Cosmic to make room for a Blue Flex, which I think are quite good right now. And yeah, I think that this shell in general is quite good. I think the version that I played was a little bit more towards my playstyle, but I encourage you to try this version out as well. I think that this version is also quite solid. There's just something like cards in general that I'm not a fan of, or like Spinning Wheel Kick, which I understand like why it's in the list, especially like a 2 of, but I don't know. 2 blocks are never something I'm crazy about. And yeah, I think like the Cosmic and the Snag choices are both very reasonable. I kind of feel like you can kind of get away with 2 Cosmics in a lot of games, because against new in particular, like a lot of times they'll kill you before Cosmic even matters. So I feel like Cosmic is kind of like a cop out a lot of the time, and it's not like super necessary. I don't know. I feel like it's not like the answer to a lot of matchups that people kind of like make it out to be. But I think the second Snag is like a very reasonable include, pretty good into like new and the Arachnes and stuff like that, especially if you're running like Wax on Flick and stuff. Like I think this actually makes a lot of sense at a 2 of with like a light D-React package. But yeah, this is Field Flow Florian's Decklist. Very solid deck. And yeah, encourage you to go play it yourself. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.